This is the final part of the Sea of Stars story in short. Make sure to watch the previous videos first. Last chapter was eventful to say the least. The Fleshman is back. Garl gets seriously injured, and his life is now hanging by a thread. And we reach Cloud Kingdom in order to find a way through the Sea of Stars. This island, up in the sky, is inhabited by blue giants, and we don't get to see their faces. They're friendly though, and before we get to business, I win the easiest game of wheels of my life. Time to meet with the council. We request access to the Sea of Stars. After a few vague questions, it seems like there is still much of the story to unveil, but the council judges our group satisfactory. They then say a deed has to be exchanged to offer passage, and Garl says he'll wake up the sleeper. He believes this prophecy has to do with all this. Remember? Soothe a long tormented soul. Garl wants to cook for the sleeper, thus making it friendly again. Garl has all the answers to the council questions about his plan. He manages to convince them to let him bake the biggest loaf of bread the world has ever seen. According to him, no one can be grumpy when they wake up to the smell of freshly baked bread. Time to distribute the tasks. In order to win time, the group decides to split up for the Ritual of Elements. Zane and Rishan 1 will capture Zephyr, the wind spirit, in a bottle. Garl will go and convince Malcolmud to help build the kin with the earth magic. Valir and Rishan 2 will head to the volcano and clear it of the lava monster. Finally, Serai and Rishan 3 will make way to the Sea of Nightmare to collect the scale from Hydralion. We start with wind. A bit further on the Sky Island, Zephyr is trapped in crystals, and we look around for a way to free it. We get to play with lasers and battle weird little guys until we reach a mysterious crystal. Rishan extracts the crystal frequency to our coral hammer to turn it into the cobalt hammer. We can now break Zephyr's prison. Rishan captures it, and that concludes the first step of the plan. Time to take care of water. Serai and Rishan take on Hydralion, the sea beast that used to serve under Stormcaller. The two manage to extract one of his scale and complete their part. Malcolmud agrees to help Garl with the earth requirement, so it's time to travel to the volcano with Valir and Rishan for the fire part of the plan. In here, we get to fight firecrackers and big buggies, but an unexpected enemy will cause more trouble. We do some more dangerous parkour above hot lava and roll some boulders around to clear the path toward the main event, Toad Kano. This huge lava toad spawns firecrackers and erupts every once in a while, but lunar magic proves to be very effective and we take it down, making way for Garl to bake. We briefly get to see Serai and Teeks use the sea beast scales magic to instantly grow crops in Mirth before reuniting with the whole group at Kill Mountain. Everything is ready, time to cook. Little by little, the loaf is slowly getting ready, and with the help of Zephyr, we bring the delicious smell right into the sleeper's nostrils. The dragon wakes up and follows the smell to the volcano. He devours the bread and thanks the warrior cook for the meal. Along with the power of the elements, we soothed his long-tormented soul. Garl accepts to rename the sleeper Wentworth, and he takes us on his back for Garl's final journey. His time is indeed almost up, and he wishes to be buried under the celestial willow of Mooncradle. We get to see Garl's funeral, as well as the grief felt by our heroes. They need time to recover from their friend's death, but after a while, they're ready. Valir and Zale are determined to travel across the Sea of Stars and defeat Erlina and the Fleshmancer for Garl. This event also awakens the powers of Luana and Solène. We learn both ultimates. Before the big departure, I make sure to defeat Mooncradle's Wheels champion, then head straight to the Sky Giant's island. We lose no time and demand access to the Sea of Stars. Keep in mind, we don't even know what the Sea of Stars is, and the council members are not helping to clarify it. We gather the group and successively register our names, thus granting us access. A whirlpool opens into the sea, and we're off. Going down the waters, we take a trek to the center of the world. In here, we fight ethereal versions of monsters we fought before, but nothing too intense. We get out of the cavern and reach it, the Sea of Stars. It's pretty much exactly what the name describes, and we ride towards a wormhole. The graphics also changed to emphasize the whole traveling through dimension stuff. An island finally appears, and we explore. We reach a door and are instantly attacked by a futuristic robot guardian. He's no match for us, and we get an explanation from Sarai. This is where Sarai is from, and she reveals her robotic face she kept hiding until now. Her world fell to the Fleshmancer a long time ago. He built a sky base to prevent sunlight by mass-producing clouds, and sunk the moon deep into the ocean, thus preventing new children of the solstice. Sarai explains that her kind was turned into cyborgs by a sentient evil machine, the Catalyst, which fed their souls to the Dweller of Dread who guarded the moon in the abyss. She left to find solstice warriors and bring an end to the Fleshmancer's curse on her world. Indeed, Iaforil resides here, and his lair is located on a floating island nearby. We accept and follow Sarai to our hometown of Rapine, but to do so, we need to go through the derelict factory. Again, this place is very futuristic, and we progress by opening doors and activating teleporters. We also get to drive a crane and repair the elevator to escape the many turrets and robots blocking the way. We arrive in the sad town of Rapine, where everyone is depressed, and visit Sarai's home. With the help of Cedric, Sarai's computer assistant, we figure out the next step of the plan. The only way to reach Skybase and take out the clouds is to bring back online the Speedball network. The rumored builders of this network, a forgotten race, has been detected in the Cerulean Expanse, so we decide to follow the survey probe there and investigate the signal. Before we leave, Cedric drives a drone towards the sunken moon to show us what's to come with the Dweller of Dread. We navigate through the Cerulean Expanse by listening to the probe and digging up things. Ingredients and chests, but also enemies and discs showing us which way to take. Each crossroad has 8 intersections and brings you back to the entrance if you mess up, just like in the Lost Woods. After a while, we end up reaching the Lost One's hamlet, but there's no one here. We investigate a bit, and Rishan says we're in a container for souls built by the Fleshmancer. He adds that his experiments left a presence behind, and proceeds to dispel the concealing curse. We are now able to see souls that have been detached from their bodies by Iaforil. We ask around to see if someone might help, and meet Bzt. Bzt explained that Skybase was first intended to regulate climate, before it was corrupted to block sunlight. The evil machine that took over Skybase, eventually corrupted its AI core and created the cyborgs, was also known as the Catalyst. One more reason to visit the place. To restore the power of the Speedball network, Bzt tells us that his kind built a failsafe when it became clear that their world would fall. In the Sacrosanct Spires, the giant named Estriste. Bzt adds he even knows how to break the entrance seal to the Sacrosanct Spires, but he would need a body to accompany us. Rishan says he could do it, but we need to get inside of the workshop to find proper tools. Not long after entering the cursed facility, we come across the operator. It wakes up and engages the fight. This Medusa-head robot uses its claws to attack and heal. The more we lower its HP, the more damaged it looks. It also does very suggestive sounds when healing. Another reason to break its spells. We defeat that thing and reach the workbench Rishan will need to work on Bzt. After what seems to be a good while, Bzt comes out with a new body made with living glass and joins the team as a new fighter we can use. The title screen has changed to match this new world, and we sail west towards the Sacrosanct Spires. Bzt uses auto-tune magic to break open the entrance seal and warns the group about the cultists. We proceed and fight different kinds of bird people. It looks like we were being watched and witness the seat of the triumvirate. The 3 birds plot a way to deal with the intruders, and Abstarak, their leader, decides to send Rashater, the one that looks like Daffy Duck, set a trap to obstruct us. We reach the hunting fields and keep advancing. We fight the same type of bird people and walk right into Ratcheter's trap. Then he sends us down to the gallows. We easily escape, and as we try to find a way back up, we see a prisoner and decide to help him. We run into another trap, but this time Sarai manages to avoid it. She goes east to deactivate the barrier, and to do so, we play a little game of memory. Very difficult too. Verlat, along with our friends, is free. He thanks us and activates the wind devices for us to climb back up to the surface, then leaves. We now climb up and up while getting rid of the cultists on the way, until we witness Ratcheter get scolded for failing to deal with our group, as well as the freeing of Verlat. Back with the group, this time the memory minigame is a bit harder, and we keep climbing the Sacrosanct Spires to the very top, the seat of the triumvirate. We face the trio of eminence and ask them for access towards Estriste. They are shocked by our request. Apparently the cultists see him as a god, and for centuries, bird people have been its gatekeepers. Bzt tries to explain that it was a trick from the Fleshmancer, but it only made things worse causing the three to attack. Brother Kazagin is weak, but he heals, so I start with him. Rashater is annoying with his explosions, and Abstarak has a jump scare technique that puts the whole group to 1 HP. Our ultimates come in handy as we defeat them. Before dying, Abstarak asks Roshan if that's how he chose to thank them. We don't know what he's talking about, so here's a flashback. We see young Roshan thank young Iforul for the gift of the Great Eagle form he got for his birthday. When asking how he managed to do it, Iforul refuses to explain. Basically, the Fleshmancer made a deal with the bird people and sacrificed many of them for this gift, as well as the gift of wind magic and purpose in the worshipping of his Triste. Roshan, shook by knowing Iforul's madness started much earlier than he thought, says he has to go right away, leaving the group with only a puppet of himself. We are now free to visit Estriste. Bzzzt activates the mechanism by jumping on the giant block, and the speedball system is now available and ready to use. We lose no time and head right to Skybase. This place got me confused a couple times with the elevators, the buttons, the doors, and other puzzles that made navigation a bit complicated, but we managed to reach the edge of space. This place is very well guarded, and again, many defense systems try to keep us from advancing forward. The last step is upon us. The Catalyst. It deploys a couple of walls in front of us to protect from the intruders. It's basically multiple layers of different turrets, rocket launchers, healing devices, and cannons. The walls go down easy and the Catalyst is working the same way. 6 turrets that keep on regenerating as we damage the main unit. After a long battle, the machine breaks under our repeated hits and the control panel pops up. Serai has PTSD from the time she was turned into a cyborg and recalls the soul creator who operated it. No matter what Serai tries, the machine won't budge. The level of encryption is way too high for us, and as she tries and tries, the evil machine's AI core comes out. It pretends to be forced to operate it, and also can't do anything to stop the clouds. Its only function being attach souls to machines. Teeks manages to get plans and schematics of the machines with the lore grimoire, but the documentation is much too complicated for all of us to understand. Zale suggests we bring this to Kale and the gang, along with this AI core, and see if they can do anything about it. After all, they're the smartest people we know. After a short trip back to our world, we head straight for Mesa Island's Clockwork Castle. We explain everything to Kyle and present him the AI core as well as the documents we have. He needs a few days and tells us to return later before getting to work. We use this free time to visit Gal's grave in Mooncradle and Moraine in Mirth. We witness that Kyle and the gang built a copy of the Catalyst in their workshop, and all of them hop aboard the machine as it starts its engines. When our group comes back, they hear voices coming from the machine, and with a well-placed punch, Bzzzt opens the pod. A strange machine pops out. It seems like Kyle, along with the others, transferred their soul into this robotic unit, freeing them of the eternal time prison they were trapped in. They call themselves the Artificer, and can not only finally get some air, but also come along to the original Catalyst computer, since it would have been impossible for us to hack ourselves. I also buy the self-deploying wheel stable from the watchmaker to bring Terrapines in. We go back to Serai's world and win another games of wheels against the new champion. Then, we take the speedball network back to Skybase. Artificer starts operating the computer, and after a bit, we're in. The clouds generators are off, sunlight breaks out, and a whirlpool towards the sunken moon appears. We dive into the infinite abyss, and without the power of an eclipse to help us, we engage battle against the Dweller of Dread and its never-ending tentacles. This fight is long, but not hard at all. From time to time he'll cast a confusion spell, making us hit each other for a few turns, but nothing bad really. A few ultimates is enough to finish the foe off and destroy its core. No eclipse needed. Valir and Zale feel stronger, and both feel like they can control the energy they felt when Gal got hit. They focus and turn into shooting stars, lift the moon back to space and bring hope to the people. With our new power unleashed, we can now fly on the map. Whenever we're ready, the Fleshmancer's castle awaits for the final confrontation. Before doing so, I still want to finish a couple things. First, now that we can fly, many portions of the map previously unreachable are now open, and we start by clearing every Solstice shrine. There are 5 of them, but we already cleared the one on the first island. After many puzzles and parkour, the door under the Elder Mist is open. It's the Elder Mist's final challenge. Only Valir and Zale get to participate. In my opinion, this is the game's hardest boss. He hits hard, and it's mandatory to focus the sword in priority to avoid getting a counter slash every time we hit the face. It took me a couple of tries, but it's well worth it, since I get Valir and Zale's ultimate weapons as a reward. To find every other ultimate gear, there are a few more things to take care of. We visit Moraine's office for the Moonstone Bracer, we activate the prism pillars and open the way towards the Dokari sunken ruins. There are 3 ruins. Again, It's puzzles. Clearing them all opens the door to the sealed Dokari ruins, where we fight for a reskin of the first boss of the game, but much stronger. This sea slug was the bane of the Dokari people and doesn't have any weaknesses. We take it down and are rewarded with Rishan's ultimate weapon. Next, we finish up building Mirth and win another title at Wheels. We also go back to Serai's world and fight the queen that was in the Cerulean Expanse. It's a big mechanical hand made out of guns. Awesome design. Not an easy fight, but we get Serai's ultimate weapon as epic loot. We now head back to Brisk and challenge the arena. We have to go through bronze, silver and gold leagues before we can compete in the special rank. We successfully defeat progressively stronger enemies until the ultimate challenge. Crustallion. It's a giant pirate crab slash sea spider with chest that casts spell and heal him by his side. We get Bzzzt ultimate armor for winning, as well as a new pet on the Vespertine. We also gain access to Ramaya's secret passage, where we find her journal and give it to Duke Adventry. We go fight Ramaya a second time. It's basically the same fight than before but harder, and retrieve the Adventry locket. We bring it to the Duke, now free of an afterlife of servitude, and gain access to his coffin, where we get an ultimate armor for Valier and Zale. Now that we did all of that, it's time to infiltrate Aephorol's castle and finish this. The Fleshmancer's lair looks very similar to Torment Peak. You know, it has that Warhammer 40k Chaos Marines aesthetic. Flesh, teeth, eyes, bones, you know the one. After a while, Le Jug, the first boss, cuts the way. He's very weak and we destroy him in no time. He warns us about the upcoming Halls of Illusion, but we keep going. As we progress through the halls, out of nowhere, Valier and the group end up at a campfire and decide to rest for a while. Valier then keeps fainting and waking up in different familiar places. Of course it's all illusions and we come across weird red crystals. Breaking them dispels the curse, the Soul Curator is behind all this, and we engage the fight. He runs away though, and we follow him through the cursed halls. One by one, we break the illusions and chase the enemy. We end up catching up with him at the Room of Sending, a portal where they send Abomination to other dimensions. Some of his acolytes merge into the Phase Reaper, who attacks us. He's very fast and summons mirror images of himself. Also, we have to make sure to break his spells because it's basically a one-shot. We take him out, and Serai manages to sneak into the curator's back and assassinates him. Valier and Zale try to destroy the portal, but nothing works, until Verlot shows up and manages to cut through it with his wind blades. He says we're almost there and thanks us again for freeing him earlier. We go up the castle's highest tower, and there he is. The Fleshmancer was waiting for us. He doesn't want to face us himself, and summons Erlina, or should I say, Alisandarel. Sadly, not one bit of Erlina is left, and she attacks us. Frustrated about losing, she begs for more power and transforms into a giant abomination. She sends out runes and summons crystal prisons on our team, as well as draining our vital energy. Apart from that, she doesn't really come close to defeating us, and as she lays on the floor, begging for more power, the Fleshmancer finishes her off. Rishan arrives from a portal, tells Aephorol to leave, and he asks us if we can feel the World Eater coming. He then also walks away, and it seems Valier and Zale just ascended to Guardian God status. They bid farewell to their friends after touching Teek's grimoire and fly away. The World Eater is here, and the game turns into a bullet hell. We defeat it and let the credits roll. We also get to see what happened to our friends. Bzzzt went to seek for the Elder Mist in order to find purpose. Serai and the pirates party every day in Rapine. Artificer and the AI core became best friends, and Teeks became Mirth High Sage, passing down Valier and Zale's legacy to younger generations. We then see her in the ancient crypt with Artificer. She checks on something's progress, as well as mentioning Yomara's notes on the flood that happened a long time ago. Artificer says he'll make the window extra thick, and we're left with the central piece of something being perfect, and the end screen. At the same time, in the Moorlands, a mysterious device has appeared. We can now save and return right before the final boss fight to complete side content. We go check on the device, and it shows us Myrna. You guessed it, gotta find every rainbow conch now. After all of the 60 conches are given to Myrna, the last stone of the device lights up, and it finally turns on. We go back to investigate, and Bzzzt says he knows about this thing called a chronophage. Apparently this is Rishan's parting gift for us. All we need to do is provide a memento of a happy memory, so we finally use the cookie jar we've been carrying from the start, and the portal appears. The portal takes us to the moment Rishan stopped time and showed Aephorol the time shards. This acts like an anchor in time, and Bzzzt says the gift is our friend's life. Bzzzt says he'll take the hit instead of Garl and survive. We do as he says, pull the real Garl out while Bzz shapeshifts and takes his place. We thank Bzz for the help. And Garl says he's not allowed to talk about what he saw on the other side, but when he comes back, he would be granted a wish. He adds his wish demands a bit of an errand though. To complete Garl's ultimate wish, first we fly to the mysterious fish-shaped island in the south and fish with the hook of time he was given in the afterlife. We pull a cave from the waters and enter. Inside, we meet Chef Bass. Garl says he wished for a dinner at the Golden Pelican with all his friends, and the large fish says he built the place. He's the chef, actually, and he invites all of us for dinner by giving us the gilded invitation. We show up at the restaurant and show Gaspar our invitation. We're all sitting at this huge table with a fancy meal while Garl gives a toast. There is one thing we need to do again now. Face Iforil himself and not his lieutenant. As he's about to call for Erlina, Garl taunts him and he agrees to fight. The battle alternates from normal fighting and bullet hell sequences. He also summons tentacles to his side that we need to take out in order to reach the foe. After a long and difficult fight, worthy of a last boss, we come out on top and defeat Iforil, the Fleshmancer. Valir and Zale still have to leave to their guardian god's duties, but they promise to visit on Garl's birthday. During the end credits, we also witness the new demonic Brugraves and Erlina together on a distant planet. We also get a different ending screen. When Tiggs visits the crypt with the Artificer, the questions remain the same, but now, a white-haired Garl is also present. He leaves and goes to Wentworth, get wished a happy birthday by the dragon, then rides on his back to their childhood hideout in Mooncradle. Valir and Zale show up, and the three hug it out as the true ending appears. And that's it! Now for those of you who played The Messenger, another game from Sabotage Studios, you've seen the future. Basically, eons later, another huge flood will engulf the world, but the shrine will remain intact thanks to that extra thick window. Valir and Zale, the ancient guardian gods, couldn't protect the world from a curse that befell it. They crystallized the last of their energy, so when the time came, they could support humanity's final hope, the Messenger. There are also many hints at the fact that we play in the same world. We get to fight demon Brugraves, or should I say Barmathazel, and meet familiar faces like the Artificer. Rishan and Iforil are also mentioned as the Archivist and the Fleshmancer. Also, Autumn Hills and the Leaf Monster that only comes out during a full moon are present in both games, the Strolling Minstrel being another hint. It hasn't been easy making this video, and I'm glad I got a chance to work on this amazing piece of video game art. The writing has been incredible, like I had no idea what I was getting into when I booted up for the first time. I also really enjoyed most of the gameplay, even though I hated the whole get all the rainbow conches thing. Anyway, I feel like this video is long enough already, so I'll be quick. Thank you for watching. I see you in the comments being super supportive and kind. I really appreciate you all. I'm just starting doing these formats, but I'm truly enjoying the process, so you can expect more in the future. Alright, that's it. Subscribe and like if you want. Okay, bye.